Hi everyone, this is Miss Whittle again with Flipping the Library. In this video, we'll be talking about some of the resources about Tennessee history that you can get to through the Tennessee Electronic Library. I believe this covers social studies standards in first, third, and fifth grades. So first, we will go to tntel.info to get to the Tennessee Electronic Library. We will scroll down to get the TEL for you. We will use this resource and click Tennessee State History. This page has a lot of links to other sites. The Tennessee Electronic Library doesn't control these sites. It's just kind of gathering them together for us to get to. The first one I want to look at is Tennessee History for Kids. And this divides the standards into history, civics, which is the same as government, and geography. So I'm going to start with history. And inside of history, there are 5 sections: people, counties, virtual tours, in search of, and videos. So I'm going to start with people. I'm going to hover over, and it brings up a list of people that they have articles about. And first, I'm going to click Alvin York. And it gives us an article and pictures about this famous World War I soldier. It also gives us some other resources that are available at this site on Alvin York. It has information on different counties in the state. So I'm going to go down to Wilson County. And you can learn some of the history of Wilson County and look at some pictures that some of them may be familiar to you. Again, it'll have some other resources related to Wilson County. Virtual tours. These are different places that it kind of goes into a little more depth on. So one of the places mentioned in the Wilson County article is Sellers Farm. So I'm going to click. Okay, this is an archaeological area, and so it'll tell you a little bit about the things that have been found in the area. A lot of Native American archaeology has been going on there. Okay. Next thing I want to show you is the In Search Of part, and it has a lot of different places, topics, and people here. So I'm going to click Andrew Jackson. He was one of our presidents from Tennessee, and has information on places that you can go and some of the things that you can see now that are related to Andrew Jackson. The difference between this article and, say, one over here from the People article is that this one is more about kind of like a scavenger hunt of how you can kind of investigate Andrew Jackson, where the People article is just sort of a biography of Andrew Jackson. The last one I want to show you in the history section here is videos. And these are videos that Tennessee History for Kids has made. So I'm going to go back to the Alvin York history. And you can view this video of a reenactor either here using QuickTime, or you can go to YouTube to see it. So I'm going to click and open up YouTube. So this is a show with sort of a host, and it's showing different scenes from some of the other shows. This is him talking with a reenactor of this famous soldier from Tennessee named Alvin York. So I'll let you hear just a little bit of that.
Are you Alvin York?
Yes, I am.
Wow. So I just read about you. World War I, right?
Yes.
And so he will continue to interview him and learn different things about Alvin York as if it's coming from the actual person. I go back to this because it completely took me out. That was the history section of Tennessee History for Kids. Now, the government section, or civics, has 3 different parts. The first is for elementary kids, which would be us. And if you have any middle or high school kids in the house, this might be good for them to learn some Tennessee history. So the first one is the elementary section, and you can start through with different lessons about these parts of Tennessee government. So this first one talks about what does government do. You may need somebody to read this with you if you're, say, in first grade, and some third graders and maybe some fifth graders would need some help with that. So if you need help with somebody reading it to you, just get a grown up or an older brother or sister to come help you out. Okay. The last one on Tennessee History for Kids we're going to look at is geography. And this is more about the land in Tennessee. Again, we have a section for elementary school and a section for middle and high school. So the first one you're going to come to as you go down is the ones for elementary school. So it talks about what's in a map. And it talks about the different divisions of Tennessee. It talks about the rivers that are here, the cities, the crops, and some of the animals that we have here in Tennessee. Okay. I'm going to come out of Tennessee History for Kids and go to the next site that is interesting, and it's Tennessee for Me. Tennessee for Me, like a lot of the other sites we're going to look at today, divides history into different categories or different sections. So we're going to look at Indians and cultural encounters. So this is going to have some articles on Native Americans in Tennessee history. It breaks it up into different sections. So you have how they lived, how they worked, who was in charge, and how things happened when the Europeans came into the Tennessee area. And so this is just something for you to read and look at some of the pictures on. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is Tennessee State Library and Archives Education Outreach. This is going to take us over to the state library's site. And they are closed right now, so there's a big announcement there when it comes up. If you go down, you'll see again that this is divided into sections, different periods of history. And since we were talking about World War One earlier, we'll go there again. Okay. What is interesting here is that you can look at different topics inside of this bigger section. And if you keep going down, it has a couple of different sections. It has the late 1800s. It has women getting the vote, and then it goes into World War One. Again, it has different topics within that section. We can look at Alvin York again. And this has some primary sources about Alvin York. What that means is actual pictures um, and newspaper articles, magazine articles from that time that you can actually click on and see. So, for example, Alvin York got a Congressional Medal of Honor because he did some very brave things. I can click on that and actually see the actual card that he got awarding him that medal and why he got the medal. So it's kind of a neat thing that you can see a piece of paper that somebody actually touched back in 1918 to get this medal. Okay. The next thing I want to show you is if you're just doing some basic information about Tennessee, you can go here to get the information on the state symbols, the state holidays, the state songs, the flags, and things like that. Okay. And then the last thing I want to show you is the site for the Tennessee Blue Book. This is something that comes out every year. There's two different editions. There's the regular adult edition that talks about the government and history in Tennessee, and then this one that's made for students. And you're going to see that it's divided up into different eras or periods of history. And we'll look at the Andrew Jackson era because it's chapter 5. Let's see, Age of Jackson. It's right in the middle. It's have some reading, some pictures, and I'm kind of a nerd this way, but I like to look at old maps, and it will bring it up a little closer for me to see this old map of Tennessee and what it looked like way back in Andrew Jackson's time. Looks very different how the counties are divided up from now in Andrew Jackson's time. Okay, so I hope that you are able to learn a little bit more about our state, about our county, through using some of these websites that you can find through the Tennessee Electronic Library. I'll see you next time.